All right, happy Thanksgiving week. Packers get a victory over the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. Much needed. They finally, treated a lesser team like a lesser team, win convincingly, and move on to Thursday's game in Detroit. It's time for As Seen by TVV. Some good stuff this week. Here we go. Jim from Milwaukee. Seemed like there were two safeties in Sunday's game. Can you explain why the Packers weren't given the 2 points? Hey, Jim, I can't, to be honest with you, other than, and you've obviously watched a lot of football, you know that forward progress, they rule it almost every time on one of those goal line plays. If the play starts in the field of play, even if the quarterback is taken back, or a running back is taken back, or a wide receiver, whoever is taken back, they mark that forward progress. They don't really want to give safeties unless it's a clear safety in the end zone. Watching in live time, I would have said as well, hey, that could be a safety. Devontae White in one play could take the guy back, but the officials bring that up. There was even a forward progress first down in the game. I thought the Packers got a very favorable spot on the left side. They give you that forward progress and then the defensive player knocks you back. So just one of those, the play started in the field of play, so that's why it didn't turn out to be a safety. But I agree with you, watching in real time, definitely some potential safety plays in Sunday's game. The defense was swarming. The Packers defense was swarming. The Vikings, had their share, a couple plays as well. Steve from Kenosha. Are the Packers doing anything different this point in the season or getting better at what they have been doing all year? Good question, or maybe two-part question there, Steve. I think defensively they're doing what they've been doing all year. They've still kind of had to adjust to Micah Parsons. They got him right at the end of training camp in the preseason, and so they still, all of a sudden you get a player like that, you're working him in. He certainly commanded Minnesota respect on Sunday. He's commanded blockers respect all season long. Got a couple of sacks there against the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy. I still am a little surprised the Packers don't get more pressure from elsewhere with Parsons tying up so many blockers, but I do think they're getting better at what they've been doing all season. They've ticked up the takeaways a little bit here the last couple of weeks. That's part of what any good defense is able to do. So that's on the defense. Doing anything different, you're playing some different people. Sometimes you see that later in the year. You go all the way back to John Starks splashing on the scene, and all of a sudden the Packers had a running back when they needed a running back back in the old Super Bowl days. So this does happen a little bit. I think you're seeing more of Savion Williams, for instance, from scrimmage. You're seeing John Fitzpatrick more at tight end as they kind of work into the post-Tucker Kraft era. You saw the single kick returner set up yesterday against the Vikings. I hadn't seen that this season. Usually it's Bo Melton and Williams back there. It was just Williams back there on the kick returns. Not that the Vikings kicked off much, but so you're as a team, you're trying to evolve a little bit. You're also trying to work on what you have done to this point in the season. I think that's true for the Packers. Another question from Kenosha. It's Winnie from Kenosha. Well, I guess it's a statement. What a boring win. Winnie. I get it. Packers, there wasn't a lot of flash in that game. The play of the day was a muffed punt inside the 10-yard line. That really swung things in the favor of the Packers, and Zane Anderson with a really nice individual effort there, special teams-wise. I personally, and I agree with you, sometimes the Packers kind of fall into this boring, whatever's going on, but I thought it was the right approach on Sunday. Jordan Love is battling a shoulder injury. You're playing again on Thursday on the road. That's a tough deal, a short week with a travel in there, even though it's a short trip. So once the Packers got ahead, I didn't have any problem with just kind of ride this thing out, to run just enough, keep it going. Yeah, it wasn't flashy. I understand. I don't listen to the TV copy because I'm in the press box there where the volume is down on all the sets. But I understand that the Fox announcers were critical of the conservative play calling. I think the Packers have been overly conservative in some of their play calling this year for sure. I had no problem with it on Sunday against the Vikings. That's just me. I thought it was the right approach, particularly the way that game was playing. You didn't feel threatened by the Vikings offense. Just get the thing through to the end and move on to this week. Let's go. Mike from Belgium. Who is the best team in the NFC North, in your opinion? How about the whole NFC, and how about the whole NFL? All right, Mike, I love the way you're thinking because it's that time of year. Once you get to the end of November and December, it's kind of like, all right, what's going to happen here this season? It's pretty wide open, I'd say, this year, certainly in all three of those groups. NFC North, best team. We'll find out a little bit on Thursday between the Packers and Lions. Obviously, both have flaws. Both have lost games they wouldn't have expected to lose this year. Bears leading the division. Give all credit to the Bears this season, for sure. maybe they've gotten some breaks on who played, who didn't play. Aaron Rodgers Sunday for the Steelers didn't play. Bears still have a negative point differential, but they're 8-3. You can't take anything away from them. I don't think they're the best team in the division. I think it's Detroit or Green Bay. I think it's a big game on Thursday between those two teams. Best team in the whole NFC, for me, that's the Rams. Hands down, that's the Rams. I'm a Rams believer. How about the whole NFL? I'd say the Rams. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. If you're including the AFC, I would probably say the Broncos look like the best team in the. I haven't seen the Patriots that much. We were just talking in the press box yesterday about the Patriots, and I don't know whether to applaud them. Certainly applaud where they are. Elliott Wolf running a great show over there, and the new coach Mike Vrabel there. They're at double-digit wins. I don't know how good they are. I haven't seen a lot of the Patriots, but I would say, I guess, the Broncos from the AFC at this point. Some of the usual powers are down a little bit this year. Whole NFL, I would go the Rams. NFC North, I would say, let's say Lions and Packers, 1 and 1A there. Jaquan from Milwaukee. Do you get tired of going to Detroit for Thanksgiving? Appreciate the question, Jaquan. No. It's traditional football. If you grew up and the Packers used to play on Thanksgiving all the time against the Lions, in Detroit, Thanksgiving is a big deal. They got a big parade. It's an annual event there, so you're part of all that. Now the Lions are good. For a while there, the Lions, that was kind of their season highlight, was their Thanksgiving home game. Now, of course, they're good. They play a lot of primetime games, etc. So, no, I don't. You miss your family. You're out. People ask, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Well, I'm driving to Detroit. That part of it's not the most exciting, but the game's always a big deal, and it's just part of this time of year for sure. So no, I do not get tired of going to Detroit. And Detroit to me, kind of sleeper. I like the city, and I like Ford Field. That's one of my more enjoyable stadiums to be a part of and covering Packer football. So Detroit, Ford Field, Thanksgiving, all kind of just the way it is. And that game's on Fox 6. We have lots of coverage of the game. That's always fun too. So that's great. So we'll be starting early Thursday morning, get you going on the wake up news, get you all set for the game, and then the Fox coverage right on through the game. So we do it all season long. Fox 6, Fox Local, Fox Sports, our various platforms. It's kind of fun. This, as seen by TVV, remains fun. I liked the questions. I also kind of like to know what people are thinking out there, your questions, your comments. So very cool. Definitely appreciate it. And look forward to doing it again on Thursday for your holiday. Hey, tune in. Give us some questions. Give us some opinions. It's all good stuff. As seen by TVV, all season long, just like our Packers coverage. We cover you from pillar to post. Have a super holiday.